Hello, year six. Good morning. And how are you today? I hope you had a good night rest. We're studying again math this morning, and it's the last units on our workbook, Unit 5, page 208 to 209 on the workbook. So get the workbook ready. It's still perimeters and areas, remember? But we're just going to be looking at word problems. We've done everything about perimeters and areas, rectangles, squares, and we've looked at compound shapes as well. But today, let's look at some real life scenarios and see if we can solve or calculate perimeters and areas using real life situations or real life scenarios. Our lesson objective is just for us to be able to calculate areas and perimeters using real life examples. So let's get to the first question. This is a kitchen tile and it is all square, right? Now each of this tile has an area of 100 centimeters square. Just look at each of the tile. It has an area of 100 centimeters square. So that means one tile is 100 centimeters square. Now the question says we should find the side and the length of one tile. Good enough. One tile has an area of 10 centimeters square. Oh, sorry, pardon me, 100 centimeters square. So it means in this one square, there is an extra 100 boxes inside of it. Remember finding area by counting squares. So if this one square is 100 centimeters square, it means there are 100 little squares inside of it. So the question says, what is the area of this one single tile? Apparently, it must mean that the length and the width have been multiplied together to give 100 centimeters square. Remember, for a square, to find the area is side times side. And this is a square tile. It has an area of 100 centimeters square. It means they must have multiplied two numbers together, two same numbers. A square has the same sides, remember? So it must be two same numbers that have been multiplied together to give 100. What could this two or this number be? Let's try from 5. 5 multiplied by itself. 5 times 5 is 25. That is not even up to 100, so it cannot be 5 times 5. Let's try 6. 6 times 6 is 36. It's not equally up to 100. Let's try 7. 7 times 7 is 49. It's not up to 100, so it's not 7. What about 8? 8 times 8 is 64. It's not up to 100, so the side cannot be 8. Let's try 9. 9 times 9 is 81. It's not up to 100, but it seems we're getting a bit close. Let's try 10 this time. 10 multiplied by 10 is 100. So that means 10 must be the number that will be for the side of the tile. Because if we multiply 10 by 10, we will get 100. And remember, side times side is 100. That's what we're looking for. What now is the side? The side is 10. So, since now we know that one of the tiles has 10 length or 10 centimeter length and 10 centimeter width, if we multiply the two together, we get the 100. So now we know that our side is 10. 10 centimeters. Look at that. On the tile, the length will be 10 and the width also will be 10 for one single tile. Of course, the area of that one single tile is 100 centimeters square. Let's see what problem 1b. 1b says a total of 250 tiles were used for the tiling of the kitchen wall. Now it's asking us to find the area of the whole kitchen wall. Now remember, one single tile has an area of 100 centimeters square. Now it is saying we have 250 tiles used to tile the kitchen. What now is the area of all the 250? So if one tile has 100 centimeters square as the area, then 250 tiles will be 250 multiplied by 100. Since one of the tile has 100 centimeters square as area, 250 of it will be 100 multiplied by 250. So what is the area of all of the whole tiles in the kitchen? 250 multiplied by 100 is 25,000 centimeters square. So it means the total mass of this kitchen wall that you're looking at is 25,000 centimeter square. Now let's see question C, 1C. This one says the kitchen is actually rectangle in shape. Okay, now we know that it has a total area of 25,000 square centimeter. That's the tiles in the kitchen. This question wants us to give 3 possible ways that the length and the width can be. It's a rectangle tile, or a rectangle kitchen rather, a rectangle kitchen, and it wants us to give 3 possible ways that the tiles can be placed. Remember the last lesson we had? The last question asked us, I sent you the picture in Class Dojo, where we were asked to draw 2 different shapes that have the same perimeter, or draw 2 different shapes that have the same area. That's just a similar thing that we are being asked here. Draw 3 rectangles that will have the same area of 25,000 centimeters square. 3 different rectangles that will have an area of 25,000 centimeters square. That's just what they want us to do. In this case, we'll have to look at 3 options of multiplying length by width, and we'll get the same answer. 3 options of multiplying length and width, and we'll get the same answer. It means length times width, all of our length times width in our 3 options must give us 25,000 centimeters square. So let's look at the first option. Remember, it's a rectangle. A rectangle has to be length longer and width shorter, or length shorter, width longer, any one of the 2. It's a rectangle, so all the sides are not the same. Let's try the first option. 2 numbers that we can multiply together to give us 25,000 centimeters square. Our length 200 and our width 125. If we multiply these 2 numbers, it will give us 25,000 centimeters square. So the kitchen can be tiled in such a way that the length will be 200 centimeters square and the width will be 125 centimeters square. That's one option. Let's see another one. It can also be 250 meters square and 250 meter length and 100 meter, No, we have centimeter, not meter. Centimeter. It can also be 250 centimeter in length and 100 centimeter in width. We can also choose that option. It's also a rectangle. That means the length will be 250, the width will be 100. What other option do we have? Can you think of any other one? All right, let's see another one. We also have this option of 500. We can make our length 500 and our width 50. Okay, all of this will still give us the same area of 25,000 centimeters square. And guess what? We're not going to change the number of tiles. We will still be using 250 tiles, but we will just need to consider what do we want to be our length and what do we want to be our width. What shape do we want for our kitchen? Do we want the 250 length and 100 width, or 500 length and 50 width, or 200 length and 125 width? They will all produce the same area. Okay, so these are the three options that we can have for the tiling of our wall. Let's go on to the next question. Now, this is a farmer. He's trying to build a pen for his cows. He has a perimeter fencing already. He bought the fencing of 120 meter, but he's trying to consider, how will I fence in such a way that I'll still be able to have enough space inside the pen that will contain the cows? Do you know the meaning of this? I have a fence that's perimeter. Remember, it's the perimeter that measures outside. I have a fence of 120 meter. I haven't constructed the fence yet, but I just have a perimeter fencing of 120 meter. Now, I need you to help me I am the farmer now. I need you to help me to build my fence in such a way that there will be enough space inside, that is area. There will be enough area inside the pen to contain the cows. So, what do we now need to start thinking of? How do we construct the perimeter first? What are the available options to construct the perimeter? Remember the previous one we just looked at for the area? What are the three options that we can use to tile the kitchen wall and still have the same area? In this case, what are the options that we can use to make the perimeter of the fence, and yet the space inside our fence will be much? The area inside the fence will be much. So what we need to do now is, let's find the best option of perimeter. Then when we look at the different perimeters we have, then we can now look at what option will give us the highest area. Okay, now look, the perimeter of the fence is 120 meter. So like I said, let's look at how do we find the perimeter? 2 times length plus 2 times width. Remember that, a perimeter of a rectangle. He says that he wants to build either a square or a rectangle fence. In any case, to find the perimeter is always length plus width, or 2 times length plus 2 times width. So now, let's look at the options we have. Let's make our length, let's look at length. Okay, this arrow just coming in shows us the length of the pen and the width of the pen. Now let's look at the first option we can have for length and width. The P we have here is perimeter. So if we have a perimeter of 10 for our length and 50 for our width, remember it's going to be 10, 10 and 50, 50. We have 2 lengths and 2 widths. So now looking at this, excuse me please, looking at this, our length is 10 and our width is 50. Our perimeter is going to be 120 if we add everything together. But for the area is length times width. So now let's see, what area would this perimeter produce? 10 multiplied by 50 will be our area. So this perimeter is going to give us an area of 500 meters square. Let's see. The second one is 15 length and 45 width. That means 15 15 for our length, then 45 45 for our width. That's the perimeter. But let's find this area. If you add all of this together, it will still give you 120. So we're still having the same perimeter using different length and width. But now let us see the area this will give us. 15 multiplied by 45 is 675. So it gives us a higher area. So maybe this option will be better than 1050. But let's see if we still have more options. Look at this one. If we have perimeter of length 20 and width 40, our length will be 20 20, our width will be 40 40. It will still produce for us 120 meter of fence. That's the perimeter. But let's see what the area will give us. The area will be 20 multiplied by 40, and that's 800. This is a better one. I think 2040 is a better option than the first two. But let's see if we still have more options. Of course we do. We have 25 length and 35 width. So if we have a perimeter of 25 25 for our length and 35 35 for our width, the perimeter will still be 120. But let's see what the area will be. Area will be 25 multiplied by 35 and we'll have 875 meters square. It is still a better one compared to the previous three that we have seen. But let's still see the final option. If we have length 30 30 and width 30 30, this now will be a square. The previous ones we've been looking at have been rectangles because the length and the width are different. Now, if we have a length of 30 on both sides, that will be 60. Then the width also 30 on both sides also is 60. So if we add 60 plus 60, it will give us 120 meter for our perimeter. So our perimeter will still be 120, but let's see what area this will produce. 30 times 30 is 900. I think this then must be the best option for the farmer to fence the farm, because the perimeter will still be 120, but it will give the largest area. The cows are going to have a bigger area of space. So our best option is 30 length and 30 width. It means that this is going to be a square. The pen is going to be a square. So a fencing of perimeter of length 30 meter and width 30 meter will give us the biggest area for the cows, and that is the best option. Okay, all right, now this brings us to the end of our lesson for year 6. So I want to congratulate you, year 6 students, and I want to wish you all the best in the next year. I thank you all for your attention. Thank you for being very supportive and active listeners, asking constructive questions, and being students who respect your teachers so very much. I hold you so much in high esteem, year 6, and I have a lot of regard for you. I hope you be better people in the next year, and I hope you'll be more mature and you have success in all your endeavors. I wish you all the best once again from Mr. Lapo. Have a very good time. Bye.